Houston, we have a hero. What's up and welcome back. I'm John Stark from MacMovieGuy.com, your favorite blind film critic. And today I'm doing the 30th anniversary of Apollo 13. This movie came out in 1995. It's an Academy Award nominee in multiple categories, including a third consecutive nomination for Tom Hanks in Best Actor. Also Best Picture nomination, which is, I think, probably the more splashy nomination. I should have led with that one. I apologize. But this was actually sort of on my list of planned anniversary releases, and then Jim Lovell passed, so I just sort of shuffled this up as sort of closer to the front of the pack pretty quickly, to try to time it a little bit better. I didn't have the review ready for his passing. I didn't know, that was going to happen. So if you're wondering, this is odd timing. Yes, it is absolutely. It's the same reason why it trended into the top 100 in the Apple Store and everywhere else, is because people became more interested in Apollo 13 when they remembered, oh, yeah, movie. It's a great movie. It exists. Anyway, it might be the best Ron Howard movie, I think. Solid possibility. Let me know what you think. Is this the best Ron Howard movie? I don't spark enough conversation, I think. So there you go. There's the conversation to be sparked. Subscribe for sparks. Tom Hanks, Kevin Bacon, Bill Paxton, Gary Sinise, Ed Harris, and Kathleen Quinlan are the main cast here, although Ron made sure that his brother got in. Clint Howard is, he's in the room too. We got Clint. So it's based on the true story of the astronauts of the Apollo 13 mission who were so happy to get to go into space and to get to go presumably to the moon. And then a malfunction caused them to get stranded in space, and then suddenly everybody was rushing to try to figure out how to get these astronauts home safely. And what could have been a disaster, somehow these three made it home alive. And a story worth telling. So in sort of a magnificent, beautiful work, a triumph of courage and heroism, and the human spirit. I say flourishy phrases now as a critic. And that's what Apollo 13 is. I do remember watching this when it first came out in 1995 and being just sort of amazed by all of it. I think it's, it's not flashy in the way that you would expect a space movie to be. It really is sort of a space drama. It's a drama that happens to take place in space. That's all it is. It's like it utilizes that factor, but it's not there. Nobody's space fighting. No aliens. Well, I can't say nothing blows up, because that's sort of the catalyst and the reason for the Apollo 13 mission is because there's a little spark of something. But it's just like a based on a true story type movie, and it features astronauts, and it's pretty cool. So the performances, they're all great. I definitely would not have given Tom Hanks a third Oscar for this in sort of his grand scheme of films. I'm not even sure he needs the nomination, because to give one actor nomination over the other is sort of ignoring. The problem is we never have an ensemble award, and there's so many ensembles where it's who do you pick? I don't think one actor here stood out above the rest. I think they all gave exactly what they were supposed to for the performance. And films like this, where everybody is sort of contributing to the same overall project and there is no weak link, make a case for an ensemble award, where they would all get like the cohesive best cast, you know. This is the kind of thing where I wish we sort of disassociated the idea of SAG's cast award being their version of best picture, so that way it could be used to just sort of embrace that in the broadest terms. What is the best cast? What was the every performance is flawless, and there are a lot of them too, because it's more impressive the more people you have that seem to be firing on all cylinders and giving these great little performances. Even the kid actors in this, the actress who plays Hanks's mom that's in the nursing home that's like, my son's supposed to be on TV. All the other various technicians working at NASA trying to get these people home. Everybody's great. It's amazing how Ron Howard put this together. He has some films that are not great, admittedly, not great movies on his resume, or just like, eh. So but he has a couple of films that just show you like, wow, he can do it. He can absolutely hit the grand slam when he wants to, and Apollo 13 is one of those films. I don't need it to have any acting nominations. I don't care that it does. I would have been more upset if it won, but it didn't. So, picture makes sense. Director makes sense. Obviously, cinematography. Editing. It's a well-paced movie. It's about 2 hours. I think it's 2 hours, 18 minutes. The pacing's really good for what it is, because it is a slower drama and not like a space thriller. So it's amazing how you don't feel that time the same way that you do other things. It doesn't ever feel like your time is being wasted. So he used 2 hours and 18 minutes, which nowadays feels like, if a director does that, it's like, oh God. But Apollo 13 just kind of flies by. It's like it's an excellent use of time. So I'd say editing is perfect. Production design, it's a period piece. That makes sense. Costume design, again, it's a period piece. So that makes sense. I don't know if it got any of these nominations. It's just, this is sort of the package that I would have put together for it. Hair and makeup, I don't know. If it was a weak year, maybe. There's some period hairstyles and stuff in there, but it doesn't necessarily scream hair and makeup to me. Original score, the score here is beautiful. It's a great score. Original song, I don't think there is one. Visual effects, of course, duh. Like, definitely, please do. And this was still back when we were breaking them up into sound mixing and sound editing. Yeah, I think it was mixing and editing. And nobody understood those categories, so now we just have best sound, because it was like films were getting like 2 sound nominations, and people were like, why don't we just have best sound, so now we have best sound, but I'm sure it got both sound nominations. My copy could use a little restoration. I think they have restored it a little bit, but it was whatever. I don't mind. It's a 30-year-old film. If it feels 30 years old, it feels 30 years old. That's just life. I don't need a 30-year-old movie to feel like Jurassic Park Rebirth, Like, oh, is this in theaters with Jurassic Park Rebirth? It feels like it's brand new. No, I mean, there are people in this that aren't alive anymore, so there's only just so much bamboozlement that's going to happen on my end of being like, Bill Paxton shot a new movie this year. Good for him. It's kind of weird, but okay. I guess we're AIing Bill Paxton now. No, I'm never going to be tricked into that, so. But I know people want, like, the highest quality possible. Well, the highest quality possible was watching this in 1995. On the big screen when it first came out. That was the highest quality possible at the time. And since then, we've been able to do it, because back then it was on film. Back then we had actual projectors. Some guy who actually was trained had to go upstairs and thread the movie through the projector. So now everything's like digital anyway. Even if you have a 4K restoration, it's on digital. You know, everything's digitally done now. So, yeah, there's something about the celluloid effect of it that you can't beat. Audio description on this is Deluxe. It's done by Ron Snow. So another thing we can't replace is Ron Snow's narration on here. I love Ron Snow's voice, and I'm sad that he passed. I don't think this is the best track, but at the same time, I'm trying to be sort of like reflective on the idea that there is a lot of dialogue here. But yeah, there were times where they'd make a transition to a new scene, and the audio description wouldn't acknowledge that we're in a completely different place and time. I get it. It's a very talk-heavy script. So I don't know if it's necessarily the track itself is deficient, or if it's just that this is a harder film than I thought it would be to describe. Because I was thinking about like the stuff in space. I think the space stuff is done really well. It's just when you get down into that room, into the pit with the NASA team, that gets kind of hit or miss. Sometimes you get a really like odd note of description. Like there's a note about one of the guys who, when they're in the middle of the shit, he pulls away from his headset and leaves his headset there dangling. They include that in the audio description. So there's a couple things, but yeah, we have some transitions that are never acknowledged. So, but then again, it's like dialogue, transition, dialogue. It's like a walk and talk. So, I think it's just an audio description track that we're not going to be enthused about, but I don't know that there's much that it can do about it. So I'm not trying to be hard on Deluxe. Occasionally I'm like, Deluxe, you could have done better. It's like, Deluxe, maybe the track could have been better, but I don't know that it could have been much better. I don't know if a different writer had taken another pass at this, that it's going to improve a whole lot. Because what I was noticing was just sort of what I'd forgotten about Apollo 13 is that it's a very dialogue heavy movie to begin with, and it becomes a little hard to leapfrog that. So yeah, I like the performances again, but I don't know that anybody's a standout here. Tom Hanks, I guess I should talk about him because he's playing the recently deceased legendary astronaut. That dude made it to 97. He survived Apollo 13 and made it to 97. We should all be so lucky, you know? He got to go to space. What a great life, you know? Actual space too, not this thing that we're doing now where we float people in like a low orbit. Like that dude was floating around in space, like real space. So, yeah, it's a movie, and if you're a little claustrophobic, you're gonna feel it when you're up there, and they're in that inside the ship. But it's cool, like the zero gravity stuff of them floating around and upside down and getting to film that way. So I like Apollo 13, and I think a lot of people do. I think this is a film that we all just try to decide how much do we like it. It's mentioned quite frequently as being a great film, but not in the category of like the best films ever made. Like it always feels like everybody can agree that was a great film, but it doesn't ever, it's not making the play for best film of all time. So, but it's perfectly fine to be on the list of great films, because that's what keeps you alive. There are plenty of films that are great films without being the top film, and we keep watching them. There are plenty of films that people would say are not necessarily technically proficient, but they end up hitting with audiences anyway, so they end up rising to the top, and regardless of what critics think about them anyway. So everything is, how does time look back on your film? and remember it? Does it remember it well, or do you get forgotten? There are so many Oscar nominees that nobody even knows what the fuck they are. You know, like, it's just, what is this movie? So, I think 30 years later, enough people love and still watch Apollo 13 that it has stood the test of time, which is more important than any award. Because there are probably films from 1995 that I could say and people would be like, I don't know what that is. I mean, I could probably find on the 95 list of nominees a film. I'm sure there's at least one nominee that nobody talks about anymore. And it's only 30 years. And then you still have to make it 40, you have to make it 50, you have to make it 60, 70, 80. You know what I'm saying? Like, and the further out you go, and the more people, the less and less people who were alive when you were theatrically released, it makes it harder and harder. So Apollo 13 seems like it's on a great trajectory to be one of those films that could have like a 75th anniversary and people will actually care. People will actually be like, wow, that was a great movie 75 years ago. Still slaps today. So it feels like it's on track for that. Watching it as a blind person, I wasn't, it didn't throw me. Like, I've seen Apollo 13 before. I lost my vision. I owned it on VHS and on DVD. I still have the DVD. And I have a digital copy that has audio description. And it's just a great movie. It's not one of my favorite movies of all time. If I had a top 250, it wouldn't be there. But like on a broader list, definitely like 1,000, probably 500, but definitely like 1,000. I don't think I could make a list of 1,000 movies and not have Apollo 13 on there, because I've seen it 4 or 5 times now, maybe 6, somewhere around in there over the years. So it's not quite as high as some other films that I've seen a bunch of times, but it is a blast off to watch. Countdown to grade in 10, 9, 8. Okay, so you should check out Apollo 13. This is obviously going to be a fresh review. I am giving Apollo 13 a 9 out of 10. I think it's a great film. It might be Ron Howard's best, but it's not the best film of all time. But it is certainly a great film and it deserves to be in that kind of conversation. So I'm happy I rewatched it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. I'll see you guys on the other side.